Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, I'll fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything.
Back to the Professional Stepdad Show. I am your host, Frank Zaval. Thank you very much for joining me. As you can see, I'm not in my normal space shooting the podcast. I am in Salt Lake City, and I just got done interviewing Scott D. Henry. It was such a blessing to sit down with him and just speak about life and about kids and about marriage and about work and about TikTok and about just everything that you can possibly think of. Our conversation goes on for a little bit over an hour, but it is absolutely worth a listen. Before I go any further, you guys, like always, if you have not, please like, subscribe, share to the show. YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, TikTok, Instagram, and of course the website, theprofessionalstepdad.com. Stepdads, please join our community. Get on the waiting list, if you want to call it that, just so we can have a collective group of men who are willing to not only change the narrative around what it means to be a stepdad, but who are willing to reach out and help as many stepdads as we possibly can. I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. This is episode 100, monumental episode for me. I am so blessed and humbled to be doing this show. I am so blessed and humbled and grateful for each and every one of you. And I hope you enjoy the show as much as I did.
For me, like, we all have things that we've struggled through. My wife and I, we've both gone through some divorces. I've gone through two.
Yeah, I'm 1.5.
1.5.
Because the second one I was engaged, but she ended up leaving me on my birthday.
Well, if you call it that, then Holly's got a few halves, I guess.
I got married when I was like 19, and I got divorced at 25.
Yeah.
But I got married for money. Because in the military, you get married in the military, they give you ridiculous amounts of money.
To get married?
So if you are in the military, I'm going to give you a hypothetical.
Okay.
Let's say you make $1,500 every payday, so every 15th and the 1st.
Okay.
So, but if you get married in the military and you marry like another member in the military,
yeah,
you get around $3,000 to $5,000 every. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they pay for you to live off post, pay for your apartment.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh,
that's
so
why we did
huge benefits. Yeah.
Huge benefits. Unless you think that, our objective was, let's get married so we can get benefits, but we were dating, like, let's just get married. Let's do it anyway. We got married at the courthouse. And it ended up being a horrible idea because we were not both ready to get married. Mm-hmm. I was a cheating, conniving piece of shit.
Okay.
Bad. I was bad. Like, okay. I wasn't faithful to anybody.
Okay.
Right? So, and then I find out years later, neither was she.
Oh.
So we weren't ready, but we weren't communicating. We didn't. Anyway, that's a long story. So the whole 1.5 years.
Yeah.
So you've been married twice.
Yep.
And
now the third time.
So what happened in the first two?
Same kind of thing. Not ready for it. The first one I really wasn't ready for it. High school sweetheart. Just thought it was the next step in life. Yeah. Even though there were signs shouting, don't do this, don't get married. It was just like, you grow up in Utah in this culture,
right.
Like that's just kind of what's
Are you
expected.
Mormon?
Yes.
Are you practicing or not?
No.
Okay.
Not practicing. Grew up Mormon, served a mission. Just kind of not practicing right at the moment.
Where'd you go on your mission?
Costa Rica.
Do you speak Spanish?
Of course.
What part of Costa Rica?
I served in San Jose, but I was all over the country. I was in Siquirres for a while, Punta Arenas.
Nice.
Yeah,
so we just got back from, or not just like 2 months ago, I went to Manuel Antonio.
We were just there too, not long ago.
There's this house that my buddy got us, and we were in the damn jungle, and next to it was incredible.
Yeah, after I won the Tough as Nails TV show, I told my wife we're gonna take the family. We're gonna have a huge vacation, and it was Costa Rica for 2 weeks with the kids.
In Manuel,
we were all over
the place,
but part of it was Manuel Antonio.
So I wanted to talk to you about that. So the show, first, unless you do, I don't know if you know this, but unless you do like an extreme amount of digging, there's you can't just find the show somewhere.
I know
why.
It's on Paramount Plus, and if you're
okay,
and if you have Amazon Prime Video, you can search it and get it there too. But Paramount Plus has now they took over the CBS streaming, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. So I didn't even know there was a Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Paramount Plus is a new.
So it's like Netflix.
It's like a new streaming thing. So you can find Tough as Nails there.
So what is Tough as Nails? What is that?
It's a reality show that's based on like construction style competitions and
building and digging down, or
building and smashing concrete, just big physical construction style activities. And there's a team side to it, and there's also an individual competition. on season 2, my team, the Savage Crew, won the
Yeah.
team, and then I won the individual.
So is it kind of like was that show where they vote people off?
Survivor,
Yeah.
it comes on. Well, right now it's on right after Survivor, but
Really?
yeah, on CBS, yeah. And then I know it's a baby. It's in its baby stages. It's on the third. The third season just ended this week on Wednesday.
Are you since you won? Are you on it still, or is it kind of you're done?
No, it's kind of like you've seen The Amazing Race or
Yeah,
heard of
yeah,
it.
I know,
So it's
yeah.
the same host,
Okay.
Phil
Yeah.
Kogan, and he's been wanting to make a TV show called Tough as Nails for I think it's been 10 years now. And so it's like that. It's just like a new crew every single season, and I'm hoping that there's like an all-star cast.
I was about to say, you watch, they're going to bring an all-star cast, but they're going to put you in a scenario where you're like in a desolate area, and you got to take down an entire, like a whole village was burnt down. You got to redo it.
Rebuilt the entire village. Good luck. That's the whole
Did you
show.
like that experience? Being
Oh
on
my
TV?
gosh, it was so fun. It was so different for me. Like me being in Utah, I don't know anything about the film industry and about making movies like you. Like I just don't know it.
Yeah.
I literally, like when I'm watching the show, I'm thinking it's Phil, the host, and there's like a couple people, like a camera crew, like holding.
Oh no!
And then we pull up to the first day of shooting, and there's semi trucks and tents and
Craft services.
services,
And
and
their
there's
dressing room.
it was called, we called it the lunch box, to where we all went and sat in the lunch box together. And I was like, so I was cool with it up until the first day of shooting, because I was like, I got this. I can handle a couple cameras, and I can still do my thing. But then I was like, oh no, this is bigger than I ever expected. But then it's the same thing. As soon as like competition time, I forget about all of it, and it's just, I have to break up this concrete. Okay, give me a sledgehammer.
So you went from being nervous straight to work. Like you knew what you were doing.
As soon as any of the work started, as soon as any of the competition started, I forgot about anything that was happening around me, other than I'm going to smash everybody else.
Wait, how does an individual do a show? Was it filmed where?
It was in LA.
So how does an individual, how are you doing a show and working a job?
I took a leave of absence.
Did they get pissed at you for that?
They were actually really excited and pretty awesome. They were happy about it. And then the hardest part about it was like handing in my cell phone and I didn't have email, I didn't have phone,
You can't communicate with anybody. You can't share with anybody.
Yeah. So like I couldn't talk to my wife for 6 weeks. And
Wait, they wouldn't let you call home?
nope. There was on my anniversary, because I was there for my anniversary, I got to talk to my wife and I got to say hi to my kids. And then
I'm not sure if I would. I mean, it's your wife could have just signed an NDA and she would have been.
I know.
All right.
I know they're really secretive about it, and I understand it, but yeah, no communication with the outside.
Okay, so you do the show, but you're working. Okay, so that's another thing. So your job is not a TikToker.
Well, now it is
So you're working that full time now?
full time now.
So you're not even working construction
I'm
anymore?
not anymore. I've retired. from
You're
the
telling me that
industry.
TikTok has replaced your income for construction.
The second I told my wife, the second that I make more money doing social media stuff, I will quit construction and come back home, because I was on the road.
Yeah.
I had to work on the road 3 weeks away from my family and a weekend home. So I was gone for 3 weeks, home for 2 days. Gone for 3 weeks, home for 2 days. That was my schedule forever.
Yeah.
And it was awful. A big contributing factor to my 2 divorces and to just missing out on my whole family life is what I felt like it was doing. So in the last year and a half, finding this social media stuff, and I just falling face first into it. I wasn't even trying to do it. It was just my stepdaughter wanted TikTok. And I'm like, nah, no, you're too young.
Yeah, that's what I said to my kids.
Nope.
They got me on and COVID. Like, oh, you got to make videos, dance. I'm like, nah, I'm set.
Nah.
And then it got to the point where I did a couple videos, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then this thing ends up turning into television, right? I don't even watch TV anymore. My wife and me, we get into bed as we put the kids to sleep, and throughout the day or what we've done so we always like a 48-hour delay, and then we share the TikToks.
Yeah.
And then we go to bed.
And that's it.
Yeah, I haven't watched TV in forever.
Unless
it's sports.
I'll watch sports.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'll watch a game.
Yeah.
But same, we'll scroll through like the funny videos that we share back and forth with each other. We'll talk about it, or we'll talk about ideas of what we want to shoot the next day, or if we have
How cool is that? That when you go from literally, your hands are probably freaking that of somebody that has been to war when it comes to work.
I'm so grateful for my dad taught me everything I know about construction, and I love it. Like I pointed to the building out here. I'm so proud that I was able to work on a big sky rise right across the street here, but is not worth being away from my family anymore. And being home and being able to be a good dad and a good stepdad and a good husband and to have a family life is so much more fulfilling than anything that I could build with my hands.
So the kids in your family, how many kids?
So I have 3 daughters of my own.
Okay.
And then Holly has a daughter and a son.
Daughter and son. And Holly's kids, is their dad in the picture?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what's the relationship with him?
He's a good dad. He's a good dad.
Always been like that?
Always been a good dad.
Cool.
And Holly would never ever say that he's been anything but a good dad.
And what about your ex?
Good parents, good moms.
So your blended family is working.
Blended family's working. I don't talk about it a whole lot. I don't see my oldest daughter. It's been a struggle.
Why?
Just bad blood.
With her?
With the mom.
Okay.
I don't talk about it a whole lot. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Like what? Are you pissed at your daughter?
I'm not pissed at my daughter.
No, I was about to say. Then how could you say?
I just am. It's just been hard. I can't. She's just been upset at me. We got divorced right when my daughter was born, and
was this your first or your second?
My first.
Your first. Okay.
She's my oldest, and it's been a struggle to see her ever since, just because it's been a punishment and
Okay, so then the relationship, I'm going to try to paint this picture. The relationship that you have with your first wife is not the best.
No.
At all.
No.
And she is, I'm assuming, putting you in the position where you almost have to choose between your current life and your family, especially like along this journey, right? Because as you get new families and new kids and people come into the picture, you're old. For instance, my mom, which my mom has known my wife for, like I told you before, since we were like 6.
Sure.
But when I asked my wife, when I proposed to her, my mom wasn't having it. My mom hated it.
Okay.
Which didn't make any damn sense to me, right? When I found out later on down the road, even at the wedding, she came to the wedding.
Okay.
And then she got sick and left that night, right? She didn't even I didn't get to do the dad mom dance, that you do.
Sure.
I didn't do any of that. And I found out later on it's because she's holding on. She was trying to hold on to something she couldn't hold on to anymore.
Okay.
So instead of just being an adult about it, and especially my mom, she decided she was going to push against it. And her way of pushing was to despair.
Just to separate herself from it.
Right.
That's too bad.
But what I'm trying to say is that's an extreme of my mom.
Very much.
Right. So when it comes to your oldest daughter and the relationship you have with her, you don't talk about it because you can't do anything about it?
I can't do anything about it.
At all.
I could go back to court and fight, but my past with fighting in the courts I've never gone in my favor. I've spent a lot of money, and it's just in Utah. I was told if I was divorced at anywhere but Utah, then I would have had more time with her and I would have been able to fight more. But it's just parents or dads trying to fight for time with their kids is not. Dads don't get.
Dads get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, they for sure get the short end of the stick. And, I'm not saying I was this perfect guy and the divorce was all her fault and we never fought. And I'll never say that. I'll own up to my mistakes like you just did, where you just said I was a jerk. I was a jerk. I had anger issues. I lied about things. I never did cheat on her, never once. But I was away a lot. I wanted my career to go a different way than she would have wanted. And, just a lot of things came to head at the time when my daughter was being born, and it just has gone downhill from there. So I'm
just wondering, again, I'm speculating, but I'm wondering why she's holding such a grudge against you.
I don't know. 15 years later, I don't know.
Okay, so do you do that a lot? Do you do that as a person, even in your current life? Do you you struggle probably like I do with it when it comes to whether it's confidence, whether it comes to the way we feel, act, display ourselves in front of people, the fear of being judged and all that other fun stuff. And, and our job as dads is to teach our kids, don't pay any fucking attention to that. What are you doing? But yet, behind closed doors, we're like, shit.
Yeah.
Right? So from an individual that went from no platform to this platform, right? And now that you're sharing, and this is not what's confusing me, Scott, because again, I understand you're not wanting to ruffle feathers with your oldest daughter, so we'll drop this up. But you don't seem like you share. I see your videos.
I do share a lot
You
of
share
my
a
life.
ton.
I've been extremely open with who I am, and I have talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
I have touched on this a little bit, and but the response that I got when I did talk about it was, "Oh, there has to be a reason. Like, what are you lying about? You know,
Yeah.
you must be a jerk if she's keeping." And if I know who I am. I know I've done some dumb things, and
Yeah.
a guy who has gone through 2 divorces is going to have some issues. There are some things that I'm not good at. Like I said, I had to learn how to control my anger. I'm an extremely competitive person, and that kind of can come across as, and I have a temper. Like I'm going to straight out say it, but it in no way should affect who I am as a dad and how much time I get to see my daughter.
Right. I agree. And I honestly think that I had a friend of mine who got a divorce kind of like that with his daughter, and all they did was fight. And all they did was go to court. And all they did was that. And one day, our mentor, this guy that we were working with, literally, and this guy's name is DP, literally told DP, he goes, "Why don't you just go to the house and not just apologize for everything, but literally just put everything in. Like, big, it's all you. You do what you need to do. I'm going to be here. I'm no longer fighting you. If you want to see it within your heart to allow me to see my daughter, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm available by phone, email. I'll fucking show up in my truck at 2 a.m. if that's what it's going to take. But you need to know that I'm done fighting. Like, I know you want this back and forth because maybe it makes you feel alive still, or maybe it makes you feel like you still have that little bit of control over me.
Right.
But I'm fucking taking it off the table. It's like selling.
Okay.
Right? When you sell to somebody, if I'm selling you your Diet Mountain Dew, and you keep asking me, well, I like it, but it's just the price. It's cheap, or it's a little steep for me, and I don't know if I can afford it.
Right.
But Scott, look, it's got a cold glass of ice with you, and it's going to be good. It's going to go down.
That's an easy sell for me. I'm going to suck that down.
But let's just say you keep kicking back against it, right? One of the things they teach you in sales is take it off the table. If I take it away from you,
then it's not even an option.
Now you're going to want it more. And so if I take and I'm kind of throwing the reverse at it, which is maybe the problem is the fight you're bucking up against something that you not only don't have any control over, because you can't control somebody's emotions, right?
No.
You can't make anybody feel any way they want to feel.
No.
But if you put it in a scenario, and again, this is going to take time and patience, of course, but
Sure.
if you put it into a scenario where it's kind of like you're in charge now, all you're going to get from me is nothing but love and support, and she's going to buck up against it. Maybe she won't. I don't know.
So I'm at that stage. I fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. Got just so tired of the fighting. Now it is a weekly, hey, when can I see her this week? Oh, you can't. Okay. Well, when can I see her next week? Oh, you can't. Oh, okay. When can I? And it's just consistent. Mm-hmm. And all I know is if I'm consistent, that maybe that will. And I don't even know if the messages are getting to my daughter. I don't know. I don't know what's being told to her.
Are you not allowed to communicate with your daughter at all?
No. I have never been given her a cell phone. Yeah.
I get you. But here's a problem that I'm going to have with you sometimes is the fact that I get what you're saying. And I understand the kind of man that you are. That's the only reason I'm interviewing with you. Because if I thought you were a piece of shit, I would have never reached out to you. I'm being honest. Like, Here's the one thing about me. When it comes to talking about being a dad, a stepdad, a mentor, a leader, a husband, an individual that walks around with confidence and walks around with insecurities.
Sure.
Right? When I talk about all that, I don't talk about it in a way that I'm trying to baby fucking anybody.
Sure.
Because I don't give a shit, right? Like, that's why I explain to these stepdads, like, most of you are fucking complaining all the damn time, and you're not actually doing the work to get there.
Right.
So when you say consistency, you're hoping that consistency gets to the point where your daughter
sees consistency and reaches out.
Correct. Yes. That is probably the smartest game plan you can think of.
Okay.
But you probably are leaving out the fact that you're still fighting up against her a little bit. You're the mom.
Yeah.
Right? And,
yeah.
And just think about it like this. When you want to get in shape, let's just say, you want to get in shape. If you are working out 3 days a week and eating healthy 5 days a week, but on Saturday and Sunday, you're fucking sucking down beers, eating hot dogs and hamburgers, everything you did before is canceled out. And you start over again. So every time you want to try to control the situation, were you a control freak in that relationship?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so you think maybe she's holding on to the fact that you were in control, and that's one of the reasons why you guys got divorced, other than the fact that you left?
Or maybe.
Okay, point is that you got to, whomever you were when you met her, she still thinks you're that person.
Yeah.
She has to.
For sure.
Because if she knows you, if she knew you now,
Yeah.
and she sees how you are now, you don't paint a picture of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that guy. And hopefully, like, of course we want to be better than who we were the day before or the previous marriage or the 2 previous marriages. Like, you want to learn and grow and get some of these things under control that you were very destructive in your previous years, when in your younger years, when you're an absolute idiot and trying to figure things out. So I am 100% a different person today than I was back then.
Yeah.
But I'll never be able to prove that to her, and I don't want to. I don't think like that's what I have to do.
Good answer.
She doesn't. That doesn't mean anything to me. What means something to me is that hopefully my daughter gets to know who I am today. Period.
Well, I mean, the chances of her actually hearing you say that out loud on this is going to be tough because, you know, like most of these stepdads hear this. But I wanted to kind of push you to the point of you just talk about it a little bit because you don't share. You do share a shit ton, man.
I do. I'm pretty open. It's because I have been through a lot and I have learned a lot. And I think I've come a long way. Like, honestly, if I was still a piece of garbage, I wouldn't share anything of my life or of my past. If I was still that person, I'd keep quiet. I never would have got on social media.
Right.
Like,
but you weren't even on it before, really, right?
No.
Right.
No.
So then your biggest struggle, let's just call it from a stepdad and dad point of view, you're living in a blended family house. What's your biggest struggle then?
My biggest struggle is my oldest daughter. And I think because of that, I've been given this opportunity with my stepkids. And I look at it as like I was handed 2 pieces of gold with my 2 stepkids.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest, they're the biggest blessing that has ever come into my life. Like, I'm not even kidding. And we don't have our kids this weekend, but Drake had a soccer game at 7 this morning, and you better believe I'm there cheering him on. Right. And everything that he does and everything that Lottie does. And they're the sweetest kids and just the biggest blessing. And I just wish I could share like my my parenting skills with my oldest daughter, because I know it's a blessing for all of us, I think, that we came into each other's lives.
Right. Was it immediately like a seamless thing, or was it tough?
To be honest, it was seamless.
For me, it was seamless too. I mean, and I like to say it wasn't, but
I want to say immediately. Like, and I feel bad. I really do feel bad for the stepdads who struggle and have a tough time with like being a part of the kid's life. Because I remember Lottie, the first time I met Lottie, I came in, sat down on the couch. She brought a book over, sat on my lap, and I read a book to her.
You were there,
and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was the cutest thing. And she's been a little sweetheart the whole time. And we were talking before this, like, I've been waiting for the famous "You're not my dad." You can't tell me that you're not my dad.
How old is she?
She's 12.
Okay, so mine happened when it was 11, 12.
Okay, see, and I figure it's going to be coming, but I would almost wear that as a badge of honor. I feel
Great answer. I feel
like if that comes out, I'm parenting. I'm actually being a stepdad, and I'm parenting. And if it's, hey, you can't tell me that you're not that. Well, I'm your stepdad, and I've been here a long time. I can say this to you.
So this is my argument with a lot of bio dads and bio moms or whatever. Actually, it's anybody that wants to try to give me fucking advice about my family, which is, you know, there is a misconception and a false narrative around step parenting, right? And if you look at what society tells you, we're alcoholics, we're abusers, we molest our kids. You know, that's
the famous saying.
Yeah.
Is you treat her like your stepchild, like
mommy dear. I don't know, mommy dearest, but she's anyway. But that whole narrative around like being a step parent and parenting, and the whole line in the sand that's drawn, which is you can do up to this, but then mom has to be in control because she's biologically right. Okay, so I buck up against that. Here's the reason why. Because obviously if you're parenting, just like you just said, right? If you guys are in an argument, she's disrespectful, you're going to parent. That's what parents do. But the moment that line is drawn in the sand, you are limiting your not only your value, but you're limiting your ability to parent.
To be a parent.
Right?
Yeah.
It's got to be a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, you're not being dad. There's a difference between I'm biologically dad and you have to listen to me to these four walls in this house is my home. You live in it. When you live in it, these are my rules. Mom has to agree with it. You have to be on the same page and you move forward. But yet, so many of these stepdads who are struggle because they feel like they have no, I don't want to say power because power seems a little bit aggressive, but they feel like they have no power.
No say, no voice.
No voice. That's the better way to say it. So with that being in that position for stepdads, and then the position that you're in, right, when it comes to you somehow lucked out and got two bio parents on each side of the realm that everybody gets along with, right?
Absolutely.
So have you ever ran into that scenario where you parented and maybe
was
Holly
corrected?
or somebody? Yeah,
yes,
everybody's like, hey,
100%.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have to do that dance. That dance is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to use my parenting style that maybe Holly had never seen before and is going to be like, whoa, nuh-uh, that doesn't work here. And then behind closed doors, we have to have a conversation.
Right.
What works? What doesn't work? When do I step in? When do I leave it alone? And if I see my kids disrespecting Holly, that's when Papa Bear comes out. I'm going to protect my wife and stand up for my wife, no matter what.
Did your dad do that with you?
My dad, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My dad was you do not disrespect your mom.
Right.
And I respected my dad for that. Because
I agree. My son does it all the time. He'll talk back. I'll hear him from my office, from the other side of the house. And if I hear it, I'm walking out.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't like that at all.
Don't talk to your mom like
that. Especially since he's the only boy with a bunch of girls. The only person who really takes aggression out on is me.
Okay.
Right? So like I'll fight with him, meaning like we'll wrestle.
Oh, sure.
Or we'll play one-on-one basketball.
Yeah.
But when I see that he's trying to take that style and put it to his sisters or his mom,
nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
But I used to be worse, man. Okay, so the way I was raised, I don't know how you were raised. The way I was raised is you don't talk back, you finish your fucking dinner. I was whipped, welted, and belted and bled on my legs. My kids don't even get it.
Not at all.
Man, my dad, again, I love my dad, but my dad was, and I grew up around alcoholic parents and drug addicts. And, there's a lot of reasons why I was a piece of shit.
Okay.
Right? It really was. I mean, I'd like to say that I've always been like this trustworthy person.
Okay.
But I haven't. I just haven't. I mean, if it was me, I probably should have been in prison.
Oh, really?
Easily.
Okay.
I mean, from insurance fraud to running drugs across the border.
Is that right? Oh, so
I
you
got
were
an
in
awesome
it.
story.
Okay.
For that, yeah. My story of insurance fraud is it's statute of limitations don't matter anymore. So I'm in the military. I lease a truck. Didn't know what leasing meant, by the way. Nobody told me what it meant. So somebody tells me, oh, you should lift that truck up in the air, put some big tires. I'm like, yes, I should.
Yeah, absolutely.
I dropped 10 grand into this truck,
no.
lifted in the sky. I put TVs in it. I did everything with it. And then like 2 years later, I get this letter in the mail saying, hey, this is the bank. This is what your truck, you owe us unless you want to return for lease.
Right.
So I went to the bank. I go, what is
What's
this?
this thing?
And they go, you don't own the truck, sir. You have to give it back to us. I go, what? So the truck was like, ticketed price was like $40,000, which is money I just did not have to buy.
Sure.
And my credit was probably just shit. So that night, me and all my buddies decided we were going to go out drinking. And we went out drinking. And this is in North Carolina, by the way. Go out drinking. We decided, hey, it's a really good idea? Let's get rid of these cars. So my other friend who was in the military with me was getting out a week later. He was going back home, which would, by the way, my home of record in the military was Arizona.
Okay.
Specifically Bisbee, Arizona. And his home of record was Globe, Arizona, which is about 30, maybe 50 minutes apart.
Okay.
So just remember that. So he takes my fucking truck a week later. We break a window. We collect the glass. I collect the glass. He takes the truck. We take everything out of the truck, the TVs, all that stuff. He takes the truck, drives it across the country back to Arizona. While he's en route that Wednesday, I call the cops, say my truck's stolen. I drop the glass in a parking spot. I'm like, this is where it was. They open.
It was fully planned.
Yeah. I watched way too much Law and Order. I just
collected the glass and sprinkled.
I'm not kidding you. I sprinkled it. I did everything that I thought I needed to do. Stupidity the entire night while the cops were taking out my report, I'm texting them, hey, how's the trip going? Everything good. Now, mind you, this is the point.
There.
This is the point where they didn't have, we were still doing some flip phones.
Oh, yeah.
So little did I know they were going to subpoena all those text messages to Skip. We call him Skip. His name's, Skip was his nickname. But he drives all the way to Arizona, drives it off a fucking cliff, and explodes at the bottom.
Literally drove it off the cliff.
Drove it off.
Oh my gosh.
A little crazy. It's found at the bottom of the cliff, completely destroyed. But the idiot left the keys in the car. Okay, that's another point of view. So they start investigating it, and they started putting 2 and 2 together. And when they found my truck, they're like, we found your truck in Arizona. I'm like, oh yeah, that's in North Carolina. Remember, it was in North Carolina. Oh yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, really close to your house.
They're like, yeah, as a matter of fact, it's in Globe. And I'm like, oh well, that's fucking random. And then they go, well, your friend Martin Paulson, he got out of the military. We haven't been able to find him. We go, but we found the car in Globe. Did you know that he lives in Globe? I'm like, no, I didn't.
I have no idea.
So I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm done. Like, there's no way I get out of this. So all I remember is New Jack City when I was a kid, which was you stick to your story.
Oh, that's it.
No matter what happens.
This is my car got stolen.
Right. So I stuck to my story. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, they get my text messages. Like, remember, they couldn't read it, and they just saw who I was texting. They're like, why are you texting him so many times?
They couldn't see the actual messages.
Right.
Oh, that's
they just saw the number.
Okay.
Right. But they're like, why are you texting the guy that we're investigating that we found your truck in his hometown the night you reported the truck stolen?
I don't know. Seems random to me.
I said, when I said to him, I was like, yeah, I was just seeing what he was up to. I don't know. I didn't know where he was. Nobody had seen him, and I knew he had left. I'm like, nobody had seen him, so I was just trying to get a hold of him. Fast forward 30 days, and I'm fucking panicking. I'm freaking out. I call my dad. I go, Dad, I'm about to confess to, and I tell him the story. He goes, okay. I go, so I'm probably going to go to federal prison. And this is federal insurance fraud. I'm in the military at the time.
Gosh.
This is a federal offense. I go, but I'm about to plead guilty. And I just need you to know that I don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to probably have to fly out here, maybe bail me out of jail. I mean, I was making my peace with it because I was so stressed. So stressed to the point that the wife that I was married to, my first wife, Sarah, during that whole toboggle, she leaves.
She was like, I'm out of here.
She couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand the person that I was. I mean, I had turned into a full-blown alcoholic. I mean, full-blown. I was drinking cases of beer a day. Cases.
Because that stressed. And that
the stress and the fact that the military, other than making you whatever you are, teaches you how to be an alcoholic. I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
It's really like embedded. That alcohol and alcoholism is embedded within the, like the DNA of the military, especially when you get to your posts.
Okay.
So anyway, that's besides the point. So I call the insurance guy. Phone rings, and I'm like, hey, let's say his name's Scott. I can't remember his name. I'm like, is Scott there? And he's my insurance adjuster, which was working with CID, and CID is like a CIA offshoot of the military.
Okay.
So I go, I'd like to speak to him, please. I need to talk to him. Mind you, this was 30 days. So he gets on the phone, and I go, Scott, I don't know exactly how to put this, and I don't know what's going to happen next, but I really need to just tell you, Frank, before you go any further, we just need you to know I just got out of the office, or I just got out of a meeting with my boss. We cannot find real evidence tying you to Martin Paulson. So as of today, your case is closed, and we will go ahead and reimburse you the $10,000 that you have, the receipts that you had. We apologize for anything that went through. We paid off the truck this morning. You're good to go.
No.
So this was like a moment in my life where I could have been like, no. Like, I need to tell you the truth, like type thing. But instead, I'm like, okay.
Well, hey now.
Hung the phone. And that's one of the reasons why I should be in prison.
Oh my God.
This is the kind of things that I used to do.
Dang.
Right? So
that
now.
is a full movie.
And now that I'm a dad, it's such a put on the brakes of who I used to be.
Yeah.
Because I used to live this fast-paced, crazy life.
Sure.
And now I live this very monotonous, everything's kind of the same thing mostly during the days because we have families, right?
Yeah.
So that is just an example of me being a piece of shit.
My gosh.
That is one example. But
that's a great example.
It molded me, I guess,
For sure. Like that's unbelievable.
You have brothers, right?
Yeah, I've got 3 brothers, 7 sisters. Huge family.
What?
Yeah, big old family.
Okay, so we talked about this earlier. your religion is, you're a Mormon, but you're not practicing.
Right.
So here's something you may not know about me. My whole family, all Mormons.
Oh, for real?
I'm not.
Okay.
Right. And that's one of the other ignorant things that I deal with my family and friends, which is they assume that because my family is Mormon, and then fill in the blank of all the stupidity that the religion gets.
Yeah.
It's never bothered me none.
No.
As a matter of fact, I even go to church with the kids during the first hour because I believe that first hour is pretty much the same.
Sure.
Everywhere.
I agree.
I mean, it's just read, sing,
pray,
pray, bye-bye. See you later. Right? Sure. So you being not practicing, does that have any effect on the kids or the family or the...
No.
Nothing at all? Is anybody practicing in the family?
My whole family is.
Okay. Why aren't you practicing?
Just
same reason why I'm not?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. I didn't really think that it was relevant. I really didn't. I mean, I believe, see, I'm not an asshole, so I agree with what they want to believe in.
Yeah, absolutely. Family is important. Like,
yeah,
I believe a lot of what the church talks about, 100%.
Right.
I want to be more spiritual and have a personal spiritual relationship rather than be religious, if that makes any sense.
That makes a fucking ton of sense.
I think spirituality is way more important than religion ever will be.
I honestly, I usually have something to say. That is fucking well said. That is well said. I mean, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's real simple.
And my personal relationship with whatever I believe in has nothing to do with how many times I go to church.
I agree.
So,
especially the way you treat others.
That's it.
When you handle, I'm kind of jumping your TikTok stuff here, but when you handle people that are complete idiots to you, especially like people, I saw a couple of recent videos where you reacted in a positive way to people that want to hit you and knock you down.
Oh yeah.
What do you think the reason for that is?
I think, honestly, me and my wife, obviously we talk a lot about it. And it is 100% a projection of who they are. And like, you hear the things that they're saying. They say, Scott, you're an awful person. You're a narcissist behind the scenes. You're this terrible guy. Like, they know me.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing. They'll see a few like 1-minute videos in a day. Like, it's a 1-minute video in a day.
And they think they can dissect your life.
And that's my whole life. That's who I am.
What about the one where you were like selling some MLM?
Oh,
that was hilarious.
But I am in network marketing.
I know, but what I mean is again, people's ignorance of life and what life is. They assume multi-level marketing
is pyramid scheme,
and it's not. I used to do that shit, and the only reason I don't do anymore is because I get into acting. Sure. I was with Vima and I was with a few other companies, but I don't think they understand that their current job that they're in is an MLM. Think about it.
Tell me a company that isn't.
Right. It's just because they painted it a different picture and it's pronounced something else. It doesn't. It's the same fucking thing.
I thank you so much. Like, because you never know how you're going to get received when you're like, you're in network marketing. You're scamming. It's like they paint this picture like I'm walking down the street looking for my next victim to scam. I'm like, I'm going to get this.
You get 3 people. They'll get 3 people. Fucking, how do you think things get done? How do you think people go see fucking movies? How do you think people just go because they heard it from them? There's person next to them. No, somebody at work or somebody fucking on television told them that this was a great movie, and everybody went. That's network marketing. They're network and marketing.
You got a manager at McDonald's. He's got some managers underneath him. Everyone else works under them. And
yeah. And this person gets paid more than that person. And
if the crew at the bottom does really well and sells a lot, guess who makes the more money?
Right. That's fucking 100% real. But people don't see it like
that. I know.
You know why? It's because scammers on freaking, TV and how they portray it in movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think we were talking about that earlier when it comes to like the whole stepdad thing. Like you and I are both stepdads, but we're not pieces of shit.
Have you seen Cinderella? Like, the way step-parents are just portrayed in Disney movies, it's like...
It's horrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe because back then, step-parents were... And, like, even the word step-parent, when I use the word stepdad or, like, my stepkids, don't say stepkids. It's evil. Why? Tell me why me being a stepdad is this horrible, evil thing when I look at it as the biggest blessing in my life. That's weird. Like, what perspective are you looking at it from? Or did you have awful step-parents?
Yeah.
Well, that's hard. That sucks for you. Are you a bad step-parent? Change it. I'm a great step-parent. My kids are amazing step-kids. There's not one evil, negative connotation with the word step kid, and I never will ever see it like that.
So you said earlier about this wearing like things like a badge of honor.
Oh my gosh.
I think that this whole step word is a badge of honor.
100%
I stepped
agree.
up, I stepped through, I
Yep.
stepped forward. I mean, this is just what I do. Now, my 3 youngest kids call me dad. My 2 oldest kids call me Franco.
Cool.
None of that matters because when I talk about my kids, unless I tell you I'm a stepdad, like literally, if
You
I
would
talk
never
about
know.
my kids, you will never
You would
fucking
never
know.
know.
Not a clue. Right? And that's when you know you can get to a level within your relationship with your kids and your family where there are no boundaries, there are no limitations, and there are no freaking labels.
Right.
But so many step parents, Scott, are holding on to that.
I
They
know.
hold on to it, man. And they don't know how to get past it. And that's one of the reasons this show exists, because they have no idea how to get past. How does a stepdad get past not feeling valued?
He has to have value in himself first. I think that's where you're like the order me, us,
Me, us, them.
me, us, them comes
Yeah.
into. If you're getting your value from what your stepkids call you or how they feel about you, that just means you yourself don't value yourself as a stepdad. If you don't see value in what you do as a stepdad,
Mhm.
what they do won't matter. So you've got to find ways to show your own value. Show up to your kids as things, even if they don't want you there. Like, show up.
Right.
Show up. Be there. Always be there for your stepkids and your kids. If you get a negative reaction and they don't want you there, just like literally always be there for them and show them that you'll always be there for them. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Be there.
So what about stepdads? Let me rephrase this. What about men? Because
Okay.
men we're a lot of us are closed-minded.
Sure.
We don't like to
Don't
ask
show
for help.
emotions.
Don't show emotions, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
What do you do to a stepdad that knows what he has to do?
Uh-huh.
Let's say he hears it now,
Okay.
and we're not pitching, but we're saying, look, you really want to change it, you got to fucking work. Do you first? Like
Be
you got to.
you.
That's the only way this changes.
Oh, that's it.
But they've grew up with, well, personal development and growth is also a scam and it doesn't work. And reading books and helping, understanding who you are, seeing a counselor, right?
That is, yeah. Why is that negative?
I don't know. I saw a counselor with my wife. We saw a counselor before we got married. We started seeing a marriage counselor before we were married.
It's so smart.
Right.
It's so smart.
And I bucked up against it for about 10 minutes. And then first time I was there,
First session, you were like, okay.
I was like, wow, that was the most valuable thing I've ever done.
right?
Right. Because it opened up the lines of communication. It allowed a mediator so that we didn't feel that an argument can turn into this blowout.
Sure.
And that's the whole, that lines of communication. Do you know what your wife's love language is?
Absolutely. Physical touch.
Physical. So is mine.
Same
I think
mine. Same with
I
mine.
think all wives are physical touch. I have never met a mom that's not physical
No,
touch.
she's a mixture. She's physical touch and acts of service.
Well, yeah,
So-
but her primary is
it's physical
touch.
for
That's
sure.
mine too. Mine's
Yeah.
exactly the same way.
Is that
Physical
right?
touch,
Yeah.
acts of service,
Yeah.
for sure. She is the woman that will literally sell our home if somebody needs the money.
Oh, and she would too.
So, what about your kids? Do you know everybody's love language?
Lottie for sure is physical touch. So is Lily. Drake has to be words of affirmation. When you tell that kid good job, he lights up.
Yeah.
And Rosie, I don't know what my little 7-year-old is. She's so funny.
Well, 7, and they're gonna.
Yeah.
I think between 1 and 10, they're something. Most of them are quality time,
Yeah.
right? And then once they start to develop into like lower levels of puberty, and then some kids hit puberty earlier,
Okay.
and they move into whatever they're going to be.
I'll change Lily's. Lily's is quality time.
Yeah.
Lottie, physical touch. Lily, quality time. Drake, words of affirmation. Rosie, who knows?
Okay, so I asked you that. You knew what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Do you realize that 95% of men don't even have a clue what I'm saying?
I do. And it's, I actually brought it up in a TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
do you know your partner's love language? Have you and no. A lot of women answer, I know mine and my husband's, but I don't know if he knows mine.
Yeah, well, it's because, again, that's the hard part about this show and this idea, Scott. It's the narrative around what it means to be a stepdad and be a man. The hardest part of me connecting with a bigger audience is men don't like to ask for help. We don't want to admit fault.
That's true.
We don't want to admit that we're either in the wrong or we don't know what we're doing. We like to solve everyone's fucking problems. Like for some strange reason, I think that's one of my biggest mistakes when I first got married is when my wife would come to me with something, my immediate thing was, how do I solve it? what's the solve method?
Right.
As opposed to just shutting the fuck up and listening.
And just being an ear.
Right.
Yeah.
And not saying a word.
Nope.
And just agreeing with it.
Yep,
Like, I can't believe that.
Sorry
man.
you're going through that, honey.
But I screwed up so much on that. So
Okay.
much. So, but that is going to be the vast majority of stepdads that are men that are stepdads. Because I got to tell you, the bio dads that are present, you know, these obstacles that we go through as steps parents, when it comes to like figuring out what our line is and who can we say and not say things to, and what are they going to say? Like I said, the family members.
Well, when you go through something, see, like you showed me your little clip of your amazing movie, and when you go through a divorce, kids go through the divorce too. You're going to have to be very, very in touch with your own emotions, and to be there for them as a stepdad. You're going to have to figure out how to emotionally connect with them, because they've just gone through something extremely traumatic too. Maybe not just gone through it, but they've been through it. They're still trying to figure out their way. Like, well, how can I have a stepdad in my life and have my real dad over there? And I don't get it. Like,
it's
why?
confusing.
It's confusing for kids. Why is this guy good enough for my mom, but my dad wasn't? And there's going to be resentment maybe in the beginning. And you're going to have to figure out how to emotionally connect with these stepkids. You're just going to have to. You can fight it all you want, and you will fight it forever if you don't figure out a way to emotionally connect with these kids.
And what do you think the first step to that is?
Find out how to connect with your own emotions.
Amen.
Go to counseling. Read a self-help book, for crying out loud. It does not show weakness. And I hate that, like that. Again, it's portrayed as a weakness. If you go to counseling, you're weak. No, it's the biggest sign of strength, saying, I need some help to connect with my emotions, and I'm going to talk to someone about it. And I'm not afraid to admit that. That right there is a huge first step. It shows so much strength.
Right.
Saying, I need help, and I'm going to get help because I do love these stepkids, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to show them that.
It's a good answer, man. So, and I say this all the time, but I'm going to put you in a scenario. So most, if not all stepdads, when they first get to I call it the rookie stage, right?
Uh-huh.
So I told you why this show's called The Professional Stepdad is because that's where you want to get to a level of professionalism.
Yeah, like
we all strive to be a pro.
You've got a lot of years.
Right?
You're an expert, yeah.
We all start off in like, we were drafted, you know, we have our rookie seasons. Right. Maybe we even played overseas for a year, but we're in and every stage of being a step parent comes with the different obstacles from your rookie season to the first few years and all that. Sure. But most men that don't make it out of their rookie season, so I say their first 24 months, it's because they are in it. We're in it. I'm here. But subconsciously, that right foot is holding a door open behind them.
Yeah.
Why?
Not fully committed to it.
Right. Well, you know why? It's because we don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
We're afraid of getting hurt.
Because we've been hurt. And so you protect yourself, and you don't want to go all in. But that just hurts the kids.
Right.
That just hurts the kids. When they see your foot holding the door open.
And
they see it. They can feel it. They can tell.
Yeah. I say that to stepdads all the time. Look, kids they're fucking smart.
So smart.
And when you think that they're not paying attention, they're paying attention.
Yeah.
For sure.
They pick up on everything. They absorb everything. And they see it. They see you holding that door open with your foot. And they see you not being fully committed. Commit.
But it's not that easy.
I know it isn't. I know it wasn't. I'm not saying everything was perfect for me. It's been like we've had our struggles, but they'll always know that I'm 100% in with them forever, and that's huge.
Have you told them that exactly?
I tell them that all the time.
Good.
I tell them all the time, and what I tell them all the time is, hey kids, do you know how much I love your mom? Yeah, absolutely. I see it every day. Good. I hope you never ever ever question how much I love your mom and how I'm always here for your mom. Do you know how much I love you guys? Yes. Good. You know I'm going to be around forever. Yes, good, because I am. I'll support you forever. Just those words, them hearing it from me, means everything. They know I'm going nowhere. I'll never bail on them. I will always have their back, and I say it to them all the time. It's powerful. Just like it's powerful as a dad to say it to your kids, but I think it's even more powerful from a stepdad to stepkids.
Right.
Because you're in a new situation. It's different than being just a dad. And for these kids to know that, okay, this guy that came into our life now, when's he going to leave too? When's he going to
they're kind of like, they're anticipating the expiration
When's
date.
this guy going to disappear?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going nowhere.
Especially with those moms that have gone through 5 or 6 stepdads. Or not even stepdads, men that are potential stepdads.
Sure.
You know? But there are a lot of children out there that believe that it's their fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know? When mom and dad fight, or they didn't get along, or he left because it's their fault. They didn't like him enough. You know, but what these men don't understand is the job of the kids are to protect mom. They're always going to protect the queen of the house.
Period.
Right? I mean, my wife's name in my phone is not her name. It's Beautiful Queen. So every time it comes up, my kids see that, right? Yeah. Because it's important for them to know that this is the head of the home.
Yeah.
When they want something, I'm like, you talk to the boss?
You're talking to the boss?
You know about yet?
We know who's going to make this decision. Did you talk to her?
Well, I'm going to say yes, but it's a tentative yes until you talk to the boss.
That's exactly right.
You know, but it's that feeling of. So there are the stepdads that want to go all in, and let's say they're in, but mistakes that they make are, okay, I'm in, I'm here, and I'm going to jump all in on the kids. I'm going to make them love me and respect me and value me, and this is what they do. And what they lose is the connection with their partner, and they lose the connection with themselves. Or they go all in on mom, and they didn't really work on who they were. So what they did is they brought their old self into this new relationship. They handle things the same way, and they didn't make the connections that they needed to make when it comes to the kids. And basic connections for the kids is the love language.
Oh, sure.
Really, it's the simplest connection you make, because that's how you open up lines of communication so they can listen and they know you're listening.
Yep.
So that's why that whole me, us, them method, it's not something I created because I was bored. It's because that's just what I did. I made sure to work on me first, because if I was to parent like I parented, I mean, I would be divorced by now. My parent, like the way I was parented.
Sure.
It was. My mom shuts off. My dad is over aggressive.
Okay.
And that's exactly how I was.
Okay.
And then the whole my wife thing, partner stuff. Dude, like I said, I'm a cheater. I'm a liar. I'm somebody that just had a problem trusting everyone, so I trusted no one.
I get that,
you know,
so well.
Yeah, and and God forbid that anybody got to know the real me, because let's just say I let you in a little bit, and you got to know the real me. At the first sign of me feeling that you didn't respect or value what I gave you, not only will I cut you off, but I will burn you.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'll burn you.
Okay.
And in a way like that doesn't need to be done. This is who I was.
Sure.
And if I tried to parent like that, it was screwed.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been screwed.
Sure.
So the whole process for these stepdads, once they take that metaphorical foot out the door, right? You agree and I both agree that personal growth is where you need to start. Even if it's listening to fucking videos, YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh, anything. There are a lot of good self-help YouTube videos out there.
Tons
of them. Listening to this podcast. Like, if more people knew about this podcast, more stepdads, this is huge.
Dude, I hope so. My overall thing with this is I talked to my wife's like, so are you trying to make money with this? I'm like, no. I go, what I want to do with this is I want to parlay this into speaking on stage to men and for step parents that will just want to come and learn. And the objective here is the best way to learn is for me to introduce myself. Hi, this is who I am. This is where I was. This is who I'm going to be. And then I open it up for the rest of the time to Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
Give me your problems. Here's some solutions. And all my solutions are geared towards, all right, great question. Go work on your fucking self.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you doing for yourself?
Yeah. When was the last time you read a book that helped you expand your thinking?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't fucking do that.
How do you feel about counseling? Yeah. I hate it. Never would. Well,
boom. Step one, right? When I asked you, what are your kids' love languages? Most men are like,
what is that?
Love what?
What is that?
You know, or if I use the word love in languages, they assume that I'm talking about some prissy, girly thing, when it's not that. Love languages is probably the most masculine thing that you could do as a man, because you're connecting with who you are first, figuring out what your love language is, then finding out what your partner's love language is, then finding out what your kids' love language is. So not only are you emotionally invested, but you are present.
Dude, do you know how many women would be so thrilled if their husband walked up and be like, hey, babe, what's your love language? Just that question alone. What? Did you just ask me that?
Yeah.
And then be
Are
like,
you drunk?
Where did you hear that phrase? And then he would be like, well, mine is physical touch. What's yours? And like the women everywhere would be like, oh my gosh.
It's real simple.
Yeah.
That is crazy. It's the hardest, simplest thing a man can do.
True.
So the obstacles that we place in front of ourselves most stepdads only focus on the obstacle. It's because they took their eye off whatever their end game is. I did a show the other day where I talk about start at the end, meaning you really want to become the best dad, best man, best person you can be.
Sure.
Take an hour and pretend you're writing a story. What does your life look like 10 years from now as a dad? And really lay it out. I got this relationship with my daughter, with the kids, my wife and I are here. My job, the success I have on social media is here. Great. You have that. Now fucking reverse engineer that. How do you get from there to there? Now go to 5 years. What do you want to be for? That's a little bit easier than 1 year. Then break it down. I mean, I break things down all the way through days.
Do you really?
I have to.
Okay.
Because if I don't have a vision of where I'm going, I don't know how to get there.
Okay.
I have to have a clear vision.
Sure.
Will the vision change over time? Of course. Right, of course. But I can't set my sail assuming that I just know where I'm going unless I've already planned out a map. I got to have this compass that points to my true north.
Okay.
My true north is my purpose in life.
Sure.
Right? So, and while you're going on your journey, you're going to get off course. This is the way things go.
And then you just readjust.
Right. And that's the question. Are you doing enough work to understand how to readjust?
Right.
Because when most people get off course, and you know it as well as I do, discouragement sets in.
Oh, yeah.
Pain, struggle, you want to quit.
Yep.
I've wanted to quit tons of times.
Same.
So.
And you mean quit, right?
Oh, I mean fucking just quit.
Yeah. Like.
If I shut off, like my mom used to do to me, if I shut off, which again, I still struggle with that too.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
Yeah.
I still struggle with that where like my wife and I will argue.
Sure.
And instead of now, mind you, I'm smart enough now to let it go quicker so I don't stay in that negative space as long.
Same.
But I'm still like, we'll get in an argument and my first instinct is to bail. Not bail with family necessarily, but to bail. Like I got to get myself out of scenario right now. I'm out.
Same.
Or I won't even fucking say anything. I'll just be like, matter of fact, this happened a few days ago. My wife said something to me. I didn't feel like she's been valuing the amount of work that I've been putting into the house.
Okay.
And she said something about like me leaving a mess. And in my head, I'm like, I'm the one fucking cleaning up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, the only reason that's happening is because my wife is chasing her dream right now in her life.
Sure.
So I'm picking up the slack. And it pissed me off to no end.
Uh-huh. But you didn't say anything. You internalized
instead of expressing it to her, I took out the trash and I left. And I didn't come back for a few hours.
Okay.
And when I got back, I then talked to her. Now, rewind year 1 or 2, if I would have done that exact same thing, I would have probably shut off for a week, 2.
Yeah.
Easy. Without blinking.
And
don't talk to her.
And been quiet for the whole time. And
what's wrong? Not good. Not good. Not wrong. Why do you guys always keep asking me what's wrong? And then it just kind of infuriates you more.
Uh-huh.
Because, again, that's not knowing how to communicate.
And then when you finally do open up about it, it's an explosion.
Yeah, because you don't know how to freaking express your feelings in the proper way because I've been doing work for 10 years before I was a stepdad. I've been personal growth since like 2005.
Yeah.
And I'm still
learning. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. I'm saying this out loud to stepdads and to you because there is no end game here.
Well, like
There's no end point.
You have to be consistently working on it, consistently getting better. And like you just said, things are going to come up today that I might not be prepared for. But hopefully I am doing the work on the back end that it won't completely knock me off course, like you were saying. Yeah. And that I know how to bring my point back to true north, Like you're going to get knocked, you're going to get hit, you're going to face things in your life that you never thought you were going to face. Being a stepdad especially, you're gonna see things like, how in the hell do I navigate through this? And yeah, we might not be fully prepared, but there are things that you can do to get prepared. As prepared as you can be, I guess. But
even bio parents go through stuff that they can't get prepared for.
Right.
I think that's what stepdads need to understand. You're not like limited because you're a step parent. You're still a parent.
Yes.
We throw the word step because you kind of have to. It's like it's a label that
I think it's a respect for a bio parent.
Me too. Me too. Bonus, whatever you want to call it. I don't need to be called bonus. Like I said, I made a whole video of why I'm a stepdad, and I'm okay with it.
Yep.
But there are these men, like I said, that when they run into these problems, their first instinct is to, it's really easy, Scott, as a stepdad, especially for me. I'm gonna give you my point of view. To when things weren't going right, I could easily say to myself, if I disappear, nobody's going to fucking care anyway. If I take off, no one's going to really care. How selfish of that was of me, a way of thinking, because I can tell you that every one of my kids, whether they were as close to me or not, would have cared.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Right.
Oh, but that's that negative self-talk. And that's, again, that's something you got to work through. That's something I've had to work through. I've been the same way. I've been to those lows to where, like, if I disappeared right now,
I mean, they'd buck up a little bit, but I mean,
I think overall people would be better off. Like, those are the things, like, I've told myself that multiple times. Like, I should probably just bounce. Like, the world, my family, the kids, they'd all be better off without me.
They'll be fine without me.
That's so not true. Yeah. Like you said, that is a selfish, awful way of thinking. If you don't value yourself enough to see that if you disappeared, it would be devastating to anyone around you. Like, you need to get help. You need to find that value in yourself. You have to start with the me before you can throw yourself into the us and them. You have to start with the me and find that value in yourself.
Did you say that for me, or did you say that to yourself?
Yes. Me, for sure, 100% me.
You know, I was going to tell you a second ago, and I forgot to tell you. You said a second ago what you told your kids about how you're never going to leave, you're always going to be there, the kind of dad you are.
Yeah.
Right? That feeling that you had when you delivered that, just so you and I are on the same page, you should take that feeling of the way you delivered that and use that in the way you decide or how you navigate your way through your oldest daughter. I really think you should, because the way you deliver it was so genuine and so honest that even if I was really fucking pissed at you, Scott, I would still listen to you, if that makes sense, because you weren't trying to impress me. You weren't trying to convince me. You know, you were kind of just speaking to yourself like an inner monologue that just decided to come out.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to watch, by the way.
Okay.
Really cool to hear. I encourage you to take whatever that feeling was and kind of parlay that into something that you have no control over.
Okay.
Because you have no fucking control over that scenario.
I don't, but that makes a lot of sense to hear you say that. It was just a place of pure love and honesty.
Right. So, and that's who you are, right? Yeah. And that's who you know that you are. And you're not going to be persuaded or pushed into any other direction.
Nope.
So this is who you are now.
Okay.
So that's not who you were before, right? And that's not who you were 10 fucking minutes ago.
No, you're right.
You've grown in the last hour.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying that to you, man, because I feel like one of the reasons that it's harder to have that relationship you want with your oldest daughter, brother, is because for some reason they can't see your change. And I can't tell, and I can't for the life of me see why. And maybe they're just not hearing enough. So maybe you need to shout it fucking louder.
Okay.
Again, this is just from one man's point of view and perspective.
And I love it. And I honestly appreciate it so much. I'll be louder.
Yeah, fucking louder. You said it yourself. Look at this. I mean, you made a promise a long time ago, right? It's hard. The hardest thing you can do is that.
Okay.
It's fucking follow the. When you shoot a jump shot, what happens if you don't fucking flick your wrist?
Oh, it's
all over the place.
Yeah, you're ending up short.
You're done, right? So I made these for my son, because to remind each other to follow through playing basketball. 2, to remind myself to always follow through with what I say I'm going to do in my life, with my marriage, and with the kids.
Oh, amazing.
There's a million different reasons.
For sure.
Okay, so let's see how long we've been going. I don't know. We've been going for a minute.
It's been fun.
Okay, so we're a little bit over an hour. All right, so let's wrap it up. If you had to sum up your life, the Scott Henry life, right, today, what would be 3 adjective words that you would use?
Oh,
descriptive words to describe you and your world, not the people in it, you. It's a tough question, right?
That is a tough question. Genuine, crazy, and genuine, crazy, and I don't know, stubborn.
Okay.
It's stubborn, both good and bad.
If somebody told me that I should leave my family and I kept telling them no, it's because I'm being fucking stubborn.
I'm gonna be stubborn.
It's a loving stubborn though.
Stubborn to the point where, like, I was kicked multiple times in a row in succession, and I was still like,
So go
you,
back.
I'm gonna fight back.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get rid of me, type of stuff.
So good. I like those words.
Yeah.
I asked that to people that I talk to because it was described to me a long time ago to describe yourself in 3 adjective words, because that would be the best way you could deliver yourself to people. So as an actor, and you've kind of seen on this world a little bit, you go to an audition, and the rejection process is fucking extreme.
I've heard it's like like devastating.
It is the very first audition I ever had. I was asked to leave the room before I spoke.
Oh,
and mainly because I didn't understand what I was doing there, like the nomenclature that they used. I stood in front of them and they go, "Okay, can you slate for us?"
slate.
I
would have been like, huh?
That's what I said. I go, "What's that?" And the guy goes, looks over left, and he goes,
"Thanks for coming in."
Yeah. No, and I left. And I'm like, "Hey, maybe they like me." I didn't know any better. Then I found out slate literally just means your name and your agency.
No,
that's all it means. Can you slate for us? Yeah, Franco Zavala, Agency Arizona. Thank you. And then you go. That's how easy it would have been. And I was fucking lost. But I ran into this guy in LA, and we were talking about adjective words to describe you, which then I parlay this into my kids now, and I parlay this into like classes that I teach for. I teach confidence classes to teenage girls and like between 10 and 16 in dance studios, because that environment is so negative that I go in and I just fucking change everybody's perspective.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Okay.
And it includes dance, it includes like crying, meditate. I mean, everything. It's fun. Like I'll throw shit in like The Greatest Showman, and I'm like, we're like, yeah. I mean, if you think you're in the movie, you're in the movie. These classes are fun, but I use these adjective words because it was told to me. So I was told to describe myself in 3 people, and then based off that, I can come up with a scenario that can best describe who I am as a person. So mine was I'm focused. I'm very focused on what I do.
Okay.
I'm determined.
Okay. I love that.
And I'm cuddly.
Aww.
Right? I mean, I am, right?
Yeah.
So when I go into auditions now, and if the director, the producer, they'll say things like, tell us a little bit about yourself. So if I was to ask you that, tell me a little bit about yourself, what would you say?
Oh. Dude, these questions, I have to think about this.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell us. So remember, there's people in front of you, camera rolling, people in the room. Scott, tell us.
Born and raised, Orem, Utah.
Not tell me where you're from. Tell us about yourself. See how hard it is? It's not fucking easy.
Yeah.
Right? So what I do now, I used to do the same thing. Well, I'm Hispanic. I'm from a small town. I got 5. No. We didn't say where you were from or who you used in your life. Tell us about you. And what they're asking is that can you properly identify you?
Oh.
Right? So now, using the words that I have, if a director or producer says, all right, Franco, tell us a little about yourself. I'm like, I always say, that's a great question. I'm a gangster.
Oh.
Or, I'm sorry. I'm a bunny in gangster clothing.
Oh.
And then I don't say anything. I say I'm a bunny in gangster clothing. And then I shut up. Right. So usually they'll go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? And I go, well, from the outside, if you look at me, I've got tattoos. If I wore a wife beater and it was late at night and we were walking down an alleyway, chances are you're crossing the street.
Okay.
Right? But if you get to know me, you know that I cry at movies, that I love to cuddle, I like popcorns. My kids and I freaking are crying at Disney films all the time. So I'm a gangster. I'm a bunny, but I've got gangster clothing.
Oh, I love that.
And they immediately know that I know who I am.
Okay.
Like I'm not trying to be anybody else but me. You can use me in a movie, but don't put me in a show or a TV or commercial where I'm going to abuse somebody, or I'm going to be a murderer. I just will never do stuff like that because it's just, I'll never connect with that person.
Okay, yeah.
They'll put me in a scenario where I'm a dad, or I'm like a teacher, or a mentor, or I'm an individual that needs to look tough, but then behind closed doors, he's snuggling.
Yeah.
That's me.
Okay.
Right? So that's what the 3 adjective words were. That's why I asked that.
That's really cool.
It's pretty fun, especially when you do it with your kids, because then you come up with a fun little, my whole I'm a bunny in gangster clothing thing is just something I came up with because I'm cuddly, so are bunnies. I'm focused and determined. But the way I look in the...
But you still wouldn't approach me. If you...
Listen, if I want to, Scott, if I want to, I can intimidate the shit out of somebody.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right, but me breaking character and laughing is pretty high also. Like, I could intimidate you for a few minutes, maybe a few seconds if I'm, like, depending on what the scenario is, but I'm going to probably end up loving you anyway.
Oh, okay.
Kind of person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why I have clothes like this, and I talk to people and I have these things because I believe that it's our job, and you're on that path right now,
Mm-hmm.
with the shows you're doing and the things that you've done. It's our job to change the way the world's seen.
Yeah.
And it's our job to change and to put a stop to people that just want to be assholes.
Yeah.
And I wish more people would do the things that you do. So you need to know that what you do, man, is, I think you already know you affect the world, right? And I don't know how many people get to really tell you that other than commenting, maybe stitching or duetting your videos.
Yeah.
But in real life, from a dad's point of view, from an outsider's perspective, from somebody that went out of the way to get a hold of you so I could talk to you, you're making a real change, and you're affecting real change. Your job now, because this is your job now. Your job now is to put on the fucking cape like you're supposed to, and go.
Okay.
And I think you know that.
Okay. So most of the time, I do.
But you need to know that. You need to know that because look, your kids are watching you.
You're right.
Your wife's name is Holly, correct?
She is.
She's watching you.
I know. Okay. Okay.
You keep saying okay, like
No, it is. It's like
you're trying to internalize it.
Yeah, I'm internalizing it, trying to remember all of these amazing things. I'll for sure have to download this episode and re-listen to it about 1,000 times. Like it's just talking to you, it's enlightening, and I hope people get out of it what I'm getting out of it. Like,
I hope so too, man.
Just sitting here talking to you, it's eye-opening, and it's good, and it's healthy, and it's what a lot of people need to hear. So right back at you. That's what you just said to me. Like,
I appreciate
going,
that.
Keep your cape on and just keep going.
Okay, we'll end it with this. If you had to give your last piece of advice to a stepdad who's finding himself in the trenches and struggling, what do you say?
We've all been there. You're not alone. And just know the value in yourself. If you're struggling right now and you don't know what to do, just know we've all been there. We've all felt it. And you can get yourself out of it. You can pull yourself up, and it will get better. Hang in there.
I go to war, I fight for you. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.